Hey, my name is Willy Minnix. I am the author of the Mandolin Dead Man's Tuning series of books, and I am a music teacher in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I run my own studio on South Main Street, so if you're in Winston-Salem, come check me out, and I'll be happy to teach you how to play an instrument. I teach multiple instruments, and so I would be happy to work with you. Or you could check out my books if you're looking for mandolin lessons. I teach how to play the mandolin in different tunings, and I have several books out there. Anyway, today I want to talk about a few things. People say that hanging flyers is dead, but I say, no, that's not true. I get a lot of students from flyers that I hang, and you can hang in lots of places. In fact, I have a list that I've compiled in my phone of different places around my town where they have cork boards and you can put flyers up. So I will put flyers there, I will put handbills, posters. Sometimes when I want to put up free lessons, I'll put like business cards with free lessons on it. I put my regular business cards up. All these different print medias I'll put up there, and the way I look at it is if somebody goes into Mass General and they see my business card and then they leave and they go across the street to, maybe they're going to eat lunch at one of the coffee shops and my business card's over there, and then they go to the next store and they see a flyer for my lessons in there, and then the next day they go to Panera and they see my thing. Eventually they're going to say, oh, you know what? Maybe I need music lessons and this is the guy to do it. Yes, it does cost a little bit of money to print stuff all the time, but I have found I also do a lot of graphic design, so I try to do everything in black and white, but I make it look like kind of a film noir sort of a look. So that way I try to make it eye-catching even though it's in black and white. If you've got the money, do it in full color, but anything that's going to attract people's attention, that's what you want to do to kind of get their eye to look at you. Right now, my latest flyer is I signed up for the Adobe Suite for another year, and you get 10 free stock images. So I found a picture of a girl in a red dress pointing up and kind of looking up, and I thought that would be really cool. So I made it look like she was a teacher in front of a chalkboard, and it says, songwriting class. So that's my new flyer for this one, and I decided, what, since she's wearing the red dress, I'm going to go ahead and print this one out in color, and I did that. And what was kind of neat about it is they screwed up at the print shop, and they forgot to turn off the printer, or they didn't set it right, and it just kept printing copy after copy after copy. And thank God it worked out. They said, listen, we don't want to just throw all these away. So they ended up giving me like 3 times more copies of my flyer than what I actually ordered. So sometimes screw-ups happen and you end up coming out ahead. So that was kind of a cool thing. And the other thing that I do is most of the time when I do a full color copy like that, I make it to where it's 4 copies on a sheet. So even though I think I ordered 10 copies, which would have been 40 flyers, and I think it ended up printing out like 40 copies. So I ended up, with way more flyers than I needed. And so I went ahead and paid them the extra $10 to go ahead and have them all cut up for me, since they were nice enough to give me those flyers for free. So flyers, I still think, is a great way of attracting attention, and it lets people know what you're up to, and you can use them to hand out. Sometimes when I go play places, I'll give out the flyers that way, but flyers has not died. It's definitely a viable way to still reach people, but just be creative about it, because you want to make sure that your sign is not boring. You want it to be, when people are scanning over a whole board filled with flyers, that your sign stands out. So when you design it, take it to places where there are a lot of flyers and hold it up next to them and say, does this stand out? No, then go back home and design another flyer and just test it until you get one that's really, really eye-catching. So flyers is a good method. And that kind of brings up another idea, which is this idea of a sandwich board sign. I haven't done this yet, but somebody told me that it's a really good idea. And But I've kind of done something similar. But let me talk about the sandwich board sign first, and then I'll talk about what I'm doing. Sometimes you can get a sandwich board sign made, and you can put it out in front of, like, if you have a friend that has a business, you put it out in front of their business, and people will look at it and say, oh, wow, that's this business that I go to all the time. Somehow they're connected with music lessons. And they might go in and ask the person at the counter, they're like, oh, yeah, that's my friend so-and-so, and they teach music lessons around the corner. It's a great thing. What I'm doing is I saw one of the local shops had built a little sign out of, I think it was 2x4s or 1x's, and they basically made a frame, and it had glass, like plexiglass on the front and on the back. They had a pole, and then it had like a cross piece at the bottom that the pole set in, and they had it sitting out on the sidewalk, and they would put their menu in the sign, and then they had like these hooks on the side, and they had flowers hanging off of it. And I was like, that's so cool, because the sign that I have in front of my yard is just one of those little coroplast signs that I paid like 30 bucks for or something, and I just stick it on wires in the yard. But I thought, you know, having a portable sign that I can move around, I can take it to places and set it up. I can leave it in my yard if I want to. I can hang flowers on it. So I went ahead and built one of those too. And of course, my whole thing, like I said, is I do everything in black and white so that it's less expensive. So I painted my whole sign black and the lettering's in white. And I can change out the lettering. Like if I want to have a different coroplast sign now, I can slide out the one that's in there. I can slide a different one in and change it out periodically, so that way it keeps fresh in the public, you know, for the public. So sandwich board signs is another really good thing that you can do. And then I want to talk about three things that are kind of different. The first thing I want to talk about is street performance. I mentioned that a little bit earlier. If you're a musician, get out there on the street. If you got to get a license from your city, my city in Winston-Salem, it's only like, I think it's like 10 or 20 bucks to get out there and perform. And you can give flyers out to every single person that walks by. What's funny is they come to throw money in your case, and you say, oh, here, I'm not out here for money. Here, take a card. A lot of times they'll throw money in your case anyway, which is a nice plus. But I go out with my kids, and so a lot of times I'll let them split the money, and I give out flyers for music lessons. So it's something that you can do to tell people about your what you do for a living. Tell them about your business while you're playing music, and they can hear you. And I've gotten several students that way. And that brings up another thing. You can do house concerts. A lot of people are doing house concerts these days, and so you can start doing that and get other musicians to come in. And when people come into your house, then you can say, by the way, we also teach music lessons here. And that brings up another thing. You can do your concerts and your recitals at your house, and then you can broadcast them onto the internet, live streaming them. And your house concerts, you could probably do that too if you've got a good internet connection. You live stream the concert, and then people know that you're doing your recitals live, and their friends find out about it, watch the video, whatever. You're advertising for your music business that way. So there's a few more tips. God bless you. You have a good day, and we'll catch you later on down the road in the next video.